Hi, my name is Layla and you're listening to my podcast, Always Inspired. I've been hosting this podcast since 2019 and to my amazement, it's now listened to in over 120 countries. Honestly, it's something I never imagined when I first started. Until now, all episodes you might see here were recorded in Russian. And for at least a year, I've been thinking about finally recording in English as well. And you know what? What's funny is that I'm usually the type of person who plans everything so meticulously, at least I try to. And don't get me wrong, planning can be very beneficial, but I guess sometimes it just holds you back from acting sooner on some things that you really want to do, but you keep postponing because you keep creating reasons why you should postpone. So in this case, I spent so much time planning this episode that I almost did not record it at all. I also set so many rules in my head. I always thought my first English episode has to be an introduction of myself. My podcast, my job, my other projects. I thought every new person, an English-speaking person who comes and listens to this episode should first just logically get to know me better, right? You have to understand who you're listening to. And I believe that was the only way to do it, which led me to keep postponing it. I was either too exhausted after work or just unsure where to start. Should I talk about my career? Or should I make it more personal? Or should I maybe focus solely on what this podcast is about? So anyway, here we are on a random evening after a 12-hour workday. I'm super tired, very sleepy, but I felt a wave of inspiration and I really didn't want to miss it. I realized that I had a message to share. So I guess this first episode will not be about me, and that's absolutely fine. If you decide to stay and become a regular listener, I think you will get to know me over time anyway. But for now, I have something else to share, and if you're listening to this, I guess it's probably something you need to hear. You know how we often say that we have trust issues? Trusting others, trusting ourselves, trusting timing because we've been let down or we never learned how to listen to our gut. But I've come to realize that it's not really about trust. It's about choice. When you become friends or partners with someone, you choose to trust them, right? You choose to believe that they will not betray you. You expect them to trust you too because you wouldn't betray them either. That's a choice. You are making that risk every single time you make a new acquaintance that eventually becomes a close friend or a romantic partner. You make that choice. Maybe not consciously, but subconsciously. You are making that risk. You make a decision to believe. So why not make a conscious choice to trust yourself more and trust the timing of your life a little bit more too? The thing is, we don't have to have it all figured out by a certain age. At the end of the day, we're literally talking about just a number. All these rules that, by 18, you have to fully understand your whole life, what you want to do, who you want to become, blah, blah, blah. At the age of 25, you have to be married and you have to have kids. At the age of, 30, you have to do this and that, etc. All these rules, who created them? Us, people. You don't have to chase this version of success or certain life that doesn't truly inspire you or that doesn't resonate with you. What does inspire you, by the way? Have you ever thought about that? Your main job is to learn about yourself, is to understand who you are at your core. What are your values? What truly lights a spark in your soul? What brings you joy? What fulfills you? And on the contrary, what could you never tolerate? What do you hate? What do you think is your weakness? And where do you find your strengths? Do you have answers to all these questions? So once you learn this about yourself, once you really make an effort to get to know yourself more, stand up for it. What do you dream about? Do you even have a dream? I really hope you do, my friend, because it's so important. I always say, dreaming is what keeps me going. I feel like my life can be considered done. Like I would be over if I stopped dreaming. if I don't have a dream that I would turn into a goal and that I would be passionate to achieve. So I truly hope that that's also the case for you, and you do have at least one cute little dream that you're looking forward to achieving. Have you ever visualized that dream? Have you ever written about it or maybe spoken about it to someone? Don't be scared. Stop it. Stop choosing fear. Listen to me. Even when it's scary, even when you are the only person on this planet Earth dreaming about that particular thing, dreaming in that particular direction, own it. It's your path. It's your direction. Be brave enough to own it. But, first try to at least say it out loud. Actually, you know what? Do it right now. Pause this podcast and say to yourself, I dream of, and continue whatever you dream of. It's so important. I feel like we underestimate these small exercises so badly. I journal a lot, and I feel like it helps me so much, first of all, to put all my thoughts, each on its own shelf, to remove the mess from my head. But also it helps me understand where I'm coming from, internally. Like if I feel something, where does that emotion come from? Why do I feel this way? Do you ask yourself this question often enough? Do you ask yourself why? Do you ask yourself what's causing certain reactions that you experience? It's so important. I feel like we don't do that enough. Imagine that you met someone new, someone who you think would be a good friend of yours eventually, or someone you would potentially want to be in a relationship with. What we want to do initially is get to know that person better, no? It's not like you're going to let a stranger walk into your life and become close to you. We don't operate this way. We want to know the person. We want to understand their core values. We want to understand their background. We want to understand why they feel the way they feel, why they say things that they say. We want to know every little detail, but do you know every little detail about your own self? You know what I dream of? I'll tell you. I dream of my own painting studio. So art has been my passion since childhood. And unfortunately or fortunately, because, it's part of my journey, I stopped painting at around 19 when I chose to start my career and fully focus on that. And I know that I wouldn't be where I am today without making that choice. But will you believe me if I told you that I missed painting every single day for years? For years, I could not find a balance between work and my art. And work was more important for many reasons, because I wanted financial stability, because I wanted to be independent, I wanted big titles, I wanted promotions. I had a vision. I had a vision of my life, and at that point, art and me painting and me putting my energy and time and effort into spending hours in studio like I used to before I started working, it just didn't fit in that picture, it just didn't fit in that vision. So I sacrificed that. I don't even know if sacrifice is the right word, but I stopped doing that for the sake of becoming more successful. And I achieved all of that. But something happened 2 years ago when I lost someone I deeply, deeply loved, my grandmother. I still remember how literally on the same day when I lost her, I sat at home crying. Well, when you lose someone who was very close to you, it puts everything into perspective in a way. So I started thinking about my life. I looked at my apartment and I was like, I have everything I once imagined for myself. Literally every single thing I wanted, I had. And I made that happen. I was the one who made that happen. I reached the point where I was like, now what? What brings me joy now? I mean, how much time do I even have? My grandmother's sudden illness and passing made me realize how fast-pacing life is. And I know we talk about it a lot. We read about it everywhere, that time flies, everyone says it. But do we really understand that it's actually true? Do we feel this, that it's actually slipping away? So I just decided to pour my whole grief into painting, into art. After 10 years, I went back to a studio and I painted non-stop. My first painting was actually dedicated to my grandmother. And you know what? When I finished, I felt like I had come home. Paint, the canvas everywhere, the colors, this, creative mess in that studio was where I truly belonged. I felt it with my whole body and soul. It's like I had returned to something that brought me joy since childhood. And this is one of the most important things that we tend to forget as we grow older. It's so important to always remember, what was it that brought you joy in your childhood? Do you still do that? At least a bit. So for the past 2 years, once I found that joy again, I tried to paint as much as possible. And if you ask me, even in my sleep, what do you dream about? I'd tell you right away, my own painting studio, a cozy, safe place for beautiful souls seeking peace, calmness, and inspiration. I know how I'm going to name it. I know how it will look inside. I know where I want to open it. I dream it. I visualize it. I know I'll make it happen. I trust my timing. Or at least, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I try. At least I try to trust my timing. I try to trust that I'll make it happen. Because so far, honestly, I never ever let myself down. Everything I wanted for myself, I made it happen. So why would I think that I will not make this happen, especially if I call it a dream? It's big, okay? It's very big when you call something a dream. It's actually such an honor to have it in your mind, to have something you dream about. So I don't have any other option. I have to make it happen. So why don't you try to? Why don't you try to at least trust in yourself and your ability to make things happen a bit more? I'm not asking for a lot, just a bit more. If you think it's too late for something, may I ask you, who or what are you racing against? I don't understand this. I truly, truly don't understand this. To me, that sounds as strange as the rule that I created in my head that made me postpone this episode for months. For months, I thought that I need to sit down, I need to create a list of things about myself that I will start this podcast in English with, blah, blah, blah. How boring is that? How boring is it to only follow rules that we create in our own heads? So that being said, I don't have to tell you who I am first. Maybe you don't even care who I am, but you needed to hear this message that you're not failing. You're not late. You're not falling behind, my friend. Stop feeding yourself these misconceptions just because you're at a different pace than others. Stop comparing yourself to others, please. This is such an evil, evil thing to do to yourself. Start getting to know yourself. This is your main task. Start being more curious about yourself. You have a whole world inside your head and inside your soul, I'm pretty sure. So start being more curious about that world. There's so much in it. Start learning more about your dreams. Teach yourself to talk about them louder. First to yourself, then to others. Start living your life. It's never too late. It's never, ever too late. Trust your intuition more. It feels amazing. I promise you.